So now how these errors occur? Simply one reason that software is being developed by the humans. Ultimately, we tend to make mistakes. That is the ultimate primary reason to occur errors in the software. Besides of that reason, there are so many other potential reasons also. One is can be introduced at any stage of SDLC. We know that there are different phases in SDLC. Right from the first phase, requirements, design, coding, testing, deployment. So errors can occur at any one of the phases in the SDLC. We all prone to making simple human errors. This is ultimate reason. Miscommunication, poor requirements. So as a test engineer, we must have some kind of qualifications or else different skills. Out of one thing is interpersonal skill. As part of interpersonal skills, one thing is verbal skill, non-verbal skills, and the other one is listening skills. Next one is negotiation skills. So if any user who is working on the software, if he or she does not have proper listening skills and negotiation skills, that will impact on the documentation health. So only because of not understanding the comments or instruction of others, then we are able to prepare the not good quality document. So if such kind of bad document will carry to the lateral of the phases in the SDLC, then everything will be prepared in a wronger manner. Those will produce lot of errors. So that is the reason there should not be any miscommunication and poor requirements. If at all, if there is any miscommunication between the persons and poor requirements, obviously those will cause the errors. Other reason is working under pressure such as tight deadlines, budget restrictions, conflicting priorities. Here we know that we always work under the tight deadlines, tight schedules. So if anybody pushes to work under the tight deadlines, they'll undergo with the pressure, stress that impacts on the performance of the respective candidate. Obviously, he may not be able to give his 100% of the quality output effort. That time, so that quality may tend to give the or produce the errors on the applications. Then conflicting priorities. So if there is an argument between two different audience, then obviously the priorities will be conflicted. So if we have such kind of instance, obviously we may not be able to take the right choice and implement that at right time. That may produce some kind of errors. And complexity of technologies or infrastructure. Obviously the software, the implementation of software itself, the complicated thing. In order to simplify that complexity of the software, so we approach the strong technology to implement. So if we do not have a proper understanding about that technology, then we may not be able to give the right code or else right software. Then obviously that will cause the errors. And we know one thing that we cannot isolate software and make that as run individually. So the reason software always needs different kinds of element support. Unless it has the support of other things, it cannot work. That is the reason every software requires environmental support. That environment may be like different servers, databases, networking, internet, other external products, systems, anything could be. So those kind of environment also may create some kind of errors to the software. And then poorly documented code. So obviously this will be done by the developers. If developer writes poor code, so that will produce errors. due to environmental conditions. So we have discussed what is the environment and which all different things will take in support for the software and half the way those will cause the errors. So due to all these reasons, errors will occur to the software. Then what is the cost of error? What happens if we deliver the error prone application to the market? One thing is we need to understand that errors will cause a huge economical loss. At time only because of comma and full stop. So there were a $1 billion of loss to the companies even. There were instances like that. For an example, so past one aircraft named as Mercury that was crashed due to one reason. So there was a small error in the program which was developed for the aircraft. So because of only a small error in that program that caused to a crash of the aircraft after it launched. So we really wonder if we look at that error. So now we just look at here what kind of error that was like. So in that program they mentioned like, so they just that was the some old scripting language they used to develop. So at that time, so in that program they use the statement like this: if I space 10 space 1.10, that means that there is a variable called I, and that I has to count the numbers from 1 to till 10. That has to be repeatedly from one iteration to till 10 iterations. This is their intention to develop that. But what happened? So in order to run from one iteration to till 10 iterations, they should suppose to place comma here instead of dot. So only because of placing dot here, that loop was not able to iterate 10 times. It just iterated only once and finished. Only because of this reason, the aircraft was crashed. So we all know how much of investment they put for build that aircraft. So all gone wasted at that time only because of a silly error mistake. A silly means comma. They're supposed to put a comma instead of dot here. So at times, so it was a lesson for entire software industry, saying that at times a comma or full stop can create a huge loss to the software. That is the reason as a test engineer we have to be very careful while testing the application, and at the same time we have to be very careful while delivering any application to the real market. Yes, so this is the way of understanding about cost of an errors. So now you look at here may vary from nothing at all to large amount of money loss and even loss of life. So in a case of aircraft, it was like huge amounts. If it was like a healthcare application, you can imagine like a life threat. So you just now just imagine like a share application, it was like a huge economical loss. If you just imagine like a educational application, e-learning portal, so there may not be any big problem. And the second point, a single failure can cost nothing or a lot. Yes, we know. We have seen an example also. Software in safety critical systems can cause death or injury if it fails. Here, safety critical systems is nothing but a defense application, healthcare application. Obviously, those will create a cause death or injury. For an example, here they mentioned that online trading systems, $1 lakh per minute revenue loss if anything goes wrong. That is the reason those applications must be very, very stringent, robust. So we can ensure the application is having a quality only by testing.